This is The Fort Builders, the podcast where we explore the moments, memories, and meaning that made someone who they are, and discover what we might build in our own lives because of it. I'm your host, Lance Johnson. Welcome to The Fort. Let's begin. We're ready to roll.
Ready to roll.
Ready to roll. Well, I'm excited about today. I've got Sherrie Ortiz in the Fort. Sherrie and I met, what was it, a couple weeks ago at a KC Downtowners lunch. Yeah.
Yep.
Had the pleasure of sitting next to each other, and I'm always fascinated of hearing what people do, and you started to describe what you do, and I thought, oh my gosh, you so interesting. And I thought, I'd love to have you come on here on the Fort Builders and share some of your story, and even better if you want to share some about Kansas City, because I got to thinking, and for those out there that have not listened to this podcast is really about how we become who we are, and just talking and understanding where we come from and how we get to where we're at. But the bigger part of it is you have put together in what you do, and I'll let you share it here in a minute, but stories and really cool things about a city. So it's not only just you personally that you've got a story and how you become who you are, but you've done a lot of work in figuring out how Kansas City, or a lot of stories behind Kansas City. So anyway, welcome. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you.
And I'm so anxious and excited to hear about you.
Okay, very cool. Well, like you said, my name is Sherrie, and I own a tour company in Kansas City. I do mostly walking and bus tours, all within the Kansas City region. Might branch out later on. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
The walking tours are themed. They're generally either art and garden, gangsters and ghost, or gangsters only. I do a ghost and true crime. I do an art history one that we go up around the Nelson one, and the Kansas City Plaza, and then the city market. So those are like all the standards. And then all of those can be extrapolated into a bus if somebody wants a bus tour, or they can be customized into a specific tour that they want. I recently had the Midwestern Garden Foundation Federation came to Kansas City, and they wanted to go see a city tour, but they also wanted to stop at other gardens and see a lot of fountains. So we went around and did that for a whole day, and they stopped and had lunch at Harvey's, and it was all orchestrated, and I took care of all the logistics, and they had a lovely time. It was really cool. That was a big bus, like 55 people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was a big bus. And
Yeah.
I've done others where I did the same concept, and I stayed with her group for 3 days, and we just did various things throughout the week for about 6 hours a day. And it's a lot of curating. That's what I like about it, is it's always different. There's always something new to explore, or a little, a building I haven't seen before, things like that.
Well, yeah, that is interesting that you've been doing it for a while, and you're still learning. You're still coming up with new
Always.
stuff. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every year, different adventure, trying to figure out what's going to work. What are people looking for? What do they want to go do?
What's the name of your tour business?
Just One Day Travel Tours. I am
Okay.
not a travel agent. I am a tour guide.
Okay.
It's one of those things I misnamed. I chose poorly when I named the company.
You mean the current name?
The travel throws people,
Oh,
and they assume travel agent. It's like, no, Kansas City tour guide.
right.
Things you learn along the way.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Well, and I'll put links to your
I appreciate that.
website and everything, information in the show notes. So anybody out there, if you're you don't have to take notes. Well,
Right.
I'll try to provide that. But one thing in looking online and checking out your website, what kind of stood out to me was, and I'm going to ask you about memorable, easy. This is kind of like your tagline: memorable, easy, and actually fun. So
Right.
I'm gonna hit you on the so, like, what do you mean by the actually fun?
Fun. I think it's just a lot of the trivia and the fun facts, the things that people don't know about Kansas City.
Yeah.
When we do the streetcar tour, they go away with a list of things saying, "I didn't know about that one. I'm going to go back and catch that restaurant. I want to go see this one. I want to go visit that museum," because of the things they just didn't realize how intertwined all the different locations are with the
Uh-huh.
history and the current day-to-day life and stuff like that, so I like to make it fun. My favorite one that gets people is at Ninth and Main, was the first location for Harry Houdini to do his straitjacket routine hung upside down by the wires through the from corner to corner of the area.
Oh, wow. That is c yeah.
They're working on a
I
plaque. They're supposed to put a plaque on one of the buildings down there to
Oh,
commemorate.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you grow up in Kansas City?
I grew
Uh,
up in Raytown.
okay.
So just a little bit south, and then from Raytown, I moved to Belton, and I'm still a little bit more south. So yeah, that's where we've brought up the kids.
KC, to me,
Oh, the Casey
I
area, yeah.
yeah, I grew up out I mean, I realize all the I grew up out in Western Kansas, so to me, yeah, Kansas City, the whole big area, right?
Right, right,
But I've talked to people that before it kind of all blended together, I remember people saying it might have been a 45-minute drive through the country to
right.
get to now it's just all together. Back in the day, it
Yeah,
was just yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
People still think I live out in the sticks, and I don't. I'm only 20 minutes out.
yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, that is not out in the sticks, yeah.
I know, right? Not
Yeah.
not by a
Uh,
stretch.
no, no. In fact, that's perfect. I mean, you're close.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so you grew up in the area, and is this something? When did you get the interest? I guess did you do these kind of tours as a kid? I mean, go on them. What inspired
Right?
this? Yeah.
My mother, was widowed at about 53, I think. And she joined a lot of the bus tours. So they would do senior bus tours, and she would go out and do the 3 and 4 day trips with various groups for different excursions to Branson or I don't know, just a lot of different places. And she always came back with some cool stories about it. It sounded like fun. I thought that'd be neat to do. Um, m- at the time, our kids were only 2 and 5, so they were
Okay.
way too young to be doing that. I had been working retail, grocery store, bakery for 15, 18 years, kind of thing.
Hmm.
Sam's Club, Hy-Vee, hen houses. I actually started way back at Food Barn, and which is an old grocery store chain,
Uh-huh.
and then kind of worked my way through and spent the bulk of my time at Hy-Vee. I enjoyed it. I did donuts, I've done bread, I've done all the big stuff in between management, and I just really liked managing just the cake side of things. After a while,
Okay.
I kind of settled into just that, and I worked mostly doing that at Hy-Vee for a good 10 years or so um, out of that chunk of time. And then we got to where it was like, they're making more money on me than I am. I'm looking for a different job. I'm tired of working weekends because it's retail. And I thought I would branch out. A friend of mine is a real estate appraisal person. And I
Uh-huh.
thought, well, that sounded okay. I could do that. So I took the class, passed the test by the skin of my teeth, and 9/11 happened. So nobody was hiring anybody without experience, much
Oh,
less even anybody at all. And, so we kinda put that on the back burner, and then it just never really recovered, and it wasn't getting anywhere fast. It did eventually, but it was about a good 6 months that the real estate market was just total mess, and I thought, "Alright, we need to reevaluate this." At the time, we were due for the next size house. We are kinda
mm.
2 kids, and we were kinda ready to expand. You buy your first house and you think you're gonna call it a starter home and move out in 3 to 5 years, and next thing you know, it's 10 to 12.
Y full
So
full of all kinds of stuff. Yep, yep.
yes, yes. So we moved into this house with specifically these needs in mind. It's a side split ranch house. So we
Mm.
have an inside garage that was converted to a bakery and an outside garage that my
Oh,
husband got. So the room is just a single car garage. My brother's a jack of all trades, so he came
uh-huh.
in and reworked the walls and electric and all the stuff. And then it had 2 refrigerators, 2 freezers. That corner, somewhere in there,
Uh-huh.
is a giant, there we go,
Oh, yeah.
giant convection oven. Oops. That puppy's gonna stay there
Oh,
forever.
and I can see the sink, the
Yes.
industrial. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is where I worked for 18 years while the kids grew up, and, I loved it. The business was called Sherry's Cake Magic. I did more of the fancier stuff, the custom weddings and three-dimensional birthday cakes and things like that, and, enjoyed the job. It was good for staying at home. It was very good
Yeah.
for staying at home and being able to be here when the kids got home from school, and I could roughly control my weekend schedule, for the most part. So I did that for 18 years, and that put me at about 30 years in the bakery industry. My mom was in her early 80s and was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. So
Mm.
while I was running cake, I was taking care of her and running back and forth to Raytown because that's where we grew up. And the business kinda suffered because you can't when you have a seasonal business, you can't work on one, you have to build the next season, and it wasn't,
Oh,
it wasn't flowing very well. So I took care of her for about 2.5 years, and, fortunately, my husband could support everything that we were doing, and I would just kinda get by on the cake, and, after she passed, I was like, "You know what? I don't think I really wanna rebuild that business again." They had changed the rules for food and drug,
mm.
food safety rather.
Mhm.
They started allowing anybody to bake from their home kitchen with minimal oversight from the Board of Health. So that meant anybody could work out of their own personal kitchen with their children and their dogs underfoot, and they could do, the only thing they couldn't do was sell meringue. And so great for them, fantastic, go do your thing, but a lot of them weren't business owners, so they had little concept of how much money they were making or not making,
Uh,
and where I was charging 5 or $6 a slice for weddings, they were charging 2, and I'm like, "Why are you charging 2? You're not making any money at all, you're
yeah.
literally paying her to take that away," and, they just didn't quite get it. Just
Yeah.
didn't quite get it. So there was a lot of lowballing and people don't understand the race to the bottom. You just can't do it when you're in business.
No, you can't. That doesn't sustain. Nope.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a combination, a little bit of that and a little bit of just I'm burnt. And I
Yeah.
decided to revisit this idea. Specifically, I was going to do senior bus tours because that was still quite popular at the time. And then 9/11 or COVID happened because that was
Oh, jeez.
2019. I'd always say the world is safe now. I am not changing my career. I'm not going anywhere. We're all
Yeah.
safe now. And so 2019, 2020, and then everything that I had, all the contacts that I had made, of course, is in the hotel industry, the entertainment industry, all the museums.
Mm.
They're gone. They all had to go find new jobs. Um, so I went to find a new job too. I worked at a real estate appraisal business. Or I'm
Okay.
sorry, I
Er,
worked at a auction company.
okay.
So it was an online auction company. We would go to people's farms, barns, houses, cabinetry making, you name it, we were there. And we would go through and clean it up, sort it out, catalog it, and then put it on an online auction. And I loved that job. It was so cool. It was hard, messy, nasty work. Some of
Yeah.
the porterhouses and some of
Uh,
the manufacturing places would have sawdust a half-inch thick. I mean, you go in a hazmat suit because it was
yeah.
so bad, and, but I loved it, and it was so much fun and so much exploration and study of history and things, and, uh, which kinda ties into everything that I'm doing now, really,
Yeah.
'cause I realized how much of a fascination I had with historic things. I know more about farm implements, tools, old antiques, glassware, and things more than I ever did
Eh,
in the past. So,
yeah.
yeah, I enjoyed that part of the job.
That's interesting. Yeah. Well, yeah, more than you ever thought you ever would or maybe wanted to. But
Right. But it's
y
fun because now I look at stuff and I'm like, "I know what that is."
do you watch that what show is that? I
Pickers.
can't yeah, yeah.
Pickers, yeah, I like
Y
a lot of those.
yeah. Yeah, those are fun to watch. Yeah. So, well, it's kinda interesting you said I mean, 2 major events that you had no control over, 9/11, and then, and I'd kind of forgot about that as far as I'm sure there was a lot of people out there that affected. Maybe they probably, well, not only work and it forced them to, but maybe they just internally looked at themselves and say, "Hey, maybe I want to make a change." But definitely hear it from COVID.
Right.
There's so many people that
Mhm.
say pre-COVID, post-COVID, and how it changed.
Right.
Maybe their outlook, maybe just a lot of different things.
Habits, the
Yeah,
where
yeah,
they go. Yeah.
yeah.
That. We had bought this house and we hadn't sold that house. Around here, a lot of the houses are the same exact structure all the time. And this one was very unique.
Hmm.
Happened to drive by it, saw it in the morning, drove by it, called the realtor, visited with my husband at like 3 o'clock that afternoon, made him leave work early, put a bid on it immediately. And by the next morning, there was 11 people standing in line for it because
Oh,
it's a unique shape and it was a good price and all the things. But that was also in the middle of the 9/11 situation and housing wasn't quite figuring itself out yet. And we ended up carrying a double mortgage for almost 6 months.
mm,
We couldn't get our previous house to sell.
yeah.
So that was heavy, but
Ye
we managed.
Well, you've got guts. I mean, two two things you said. You started a lot of people. They've got the idea, right, and they want to do something, or they think they can. You've done it, um, and obviously, the first time that well, after 18 or so years doing the bakery business for somebody else, working for them, you tried to get away, but then you came back and you
Mhm.
did that. But then you ultimately got and went a different direction, which again, you're starting from scratch. You're saying, "Hey, I want to go do this." Starting from scratch, that is not easy. And
Right.
as you know, you're wearing a lot of hats. What, um, I guess you said you went out and maybe looked for a job or kind of looked for something. You were doing the appraisal or working for that auction company. But
Right.
then what made you say, "Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to start just one day."
Because it was that the appraiser didn't work. I was looking for the different job, or I had already been, working from home for the 18 years, and I knew I wanted to do something different, and I really didn't want to go back to retail. I didn't want to go work in an office. I didn't want to listen to anybody else give me the rules. I was very nervous about starting that auction job. I even told her, and I'm like, I haven't worked for somebody for a very long time, and if this you're going to have to tolerate a lot of stuff from me because that's not, I'm just not used to that. But
Yeah,
fortunately, they gave us free rein to work at our own pace and do what we wanted to do as far as getting the job done. They didn't micromanage, which was fantastic.
yeah. That's it's funny how as we get older, I think we have less maybe patience for
Yes, definitely. I
other
hit
people
40,
telling us what to
and
do.
I'm like, done with all of that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So, you start your business. How long have you had that going? The
This
just one?
current business,
Yeah, yeah.
since 2019, technically, I took basically 2.5 years off because
Uh-huh.
it was almost 22-ish before people started really making
Oh,
progress
that's
and doing, getting out.
yeah.
The thing. I was really bent on not doing the walking tours. I wanted buses, I wanted conferences and everything like that. And it was a good plan, but I was so stuck on it that I didn't let go of that idea until about 2 years ago when I started adding in more of the walking tours.
Mm.
I've actually come to like it a lot. I had some health issues kind of here and there along the way, so I was like worried about keeping up with it, that kind of thing. And so you just kind of have your own progression of choices as you go along, making decisions in a business.
Oh, yeah. You gotta
And
adapt.
yeah, and you just kind of go with it.
Mhm.
Um, So after I started embracing the walking tours, and it's still a work in progress to get like a regular crowd out. Um, but it's catching on, and, I know them out there, I just need to get them out, to get people out to come and take a tour, kind of.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So tell me about that. You were, reluctant to do walking tours, but yet then you found that you needed to, let's call it pivot and then do
Yeah.
that. Um, what, why? Uh, um,
Um, just to try something different, if one thing is
yeah,
not working, I wasn't getting a whole lot of the conferences. I would get an okay amount, but it wasn't enough to sustain. And then conferences come with its own costs because I'm usually chartering the bus, taking care of lunch, taking care of the things. And then sometimes in the end, you don't make as much money as you thought you would have on that group because extra costs come in. It's the learning process.
yeah,
Uh, so I thought I was just going to go, uh, do both because I thought the walking tours were a good opportunity just for cash flow. So I didn't, because it's just you pay me, you come do the tour. I don't have to provide anything or do any other logistics. So
okay.
that's where I kinda started doing both, and, now I'm pretty kinda balanced out to doing both walking and bus.
Okay, I'm kind of slow. So what?
Mm. It's
Yeah,
a
I
weird
wasn't.
path.
Well, I wasn't thinking of the model. When you say conference, then you're getting conferences, potentially conferences or your clients potentially, and then you're bolting on to if people are coming in for a conference, then they can sign up to do an excursion like a tour with
Yes.
you. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
and there's a connection there, and that I can see where that gets more. There's more to it versus if you just say, "Hey, call me and we'll go out and walk."
Right.
Okay,
Right. Yeah. Because the conferences, they would be like my financial lady is Edward Jones, and she was doing her own conference, and she had a group of 20 or so women in to do it, and, she broke up their conference with a city tour. So we got on the bus, we did a city tour, we stopped at a brewery, we stopped for a snack, and just had a good time, that kinda
yeah,
thing.
okay. Do you have a favorite, or does your favorite a favorite place and I guess story, and does that tend to align with your the people that take your tour? Are they thinking the same thing, or you're saying, "Hey, you guys should really like this,"
Yeah.
but yet you're finding your customers are maybe wanting to do something else, or yeah,
Right. A lot of it for me is asking the right questions.
yeah,
I had a group of people, they were H&R Block franchise owners. He happened to call me up and said he didn't tell me that even at first. He was like, I have a group, we're in town for a conference and I want to do a bus tour for the 3 hours with this group of 20 people. I'm like, okay, great. And then you start asking questions. What are you in town for? What are you going to do? Are you interested in any particular topic? He's like, no, just the city tour.
hmm,
Well, then I found out he was the H&R Block franchise owners. And I'm like, so we have a lot of history in Kansas City over
oh
Henry.
yeah,
He's done a lot for Kansas City, and all of these people were from out of state. So that was a really cool opportunity to combine something that they were really connected to and show
absolutely,
them the H&R, his college down there by the campus, the fountain. There's a couple things in memory of and things like that, or in honor of him. Um, and one of them is that fountain in front of the Union Station downtown, big round fountain in the middle
yep.
that's dedicated to Henry Block. And,
Mm.
the people who did that fountain are the same ones who did the fountain in Las Vegas at the Bellagio. So,
Oh wow,
just fun things.
yeah.
And we had a great time, and I got to even talk to a few of the people that actually knew Henry Block personally, uh, off and on because they were older than me. So it was kind of cool to hear some of the stories and compared to the research that I did and, connect the dots with different things.
Oh, that's cool. So yeah, you can you can make custom. I mean, you can kind
Yeah.
of like you said, you hear about the group coming in, they want to do
Mhm.
something, and you can tailor it. You
Right.
might have something off the shelf and say, "Hey, let's go do this." But
Right.
yeah, that's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
would think
And
that'd
that's
be
my
very
favorite.
meaningful.
Right. Yeah. That's very much my favorite part of it.
Yeah,
I do military tours. And they always come in with a plan. Of course, they're going to World War One. They're going to go to Truman. They're going to go do something else. And just being able to take care of the group, even though it's already structured and they know what they want to go do, when you get done with it, especially the ladies, they're like, "Thank you so much for taking care of us all day long." And it was grand to hang out with you because everywhere we went, I would talk about the history in that area.
yeah.
So, there was just a lot of different information, and it wasn't just simply transporting people from place to place and just being we call it an attendant. I like to be the tour guide.
Yeah, okay. Um, has your perception what do you think of Kansas City now versus 10, 20 over time?
I was an 80s child, so I really didn't go downtown all that much. You got to consider the 70s, the city market had the issues with the mob. They blew the place up, but I was given strict instructions to never go down to the city market and just other places. It wasn't where I thought I would go hang out. And as a
Uh,
a young lady, I probably shouldn't have gone hang out in a lot of those places.
right.
So
Right.
I just didn't go down a whole lot. And then, like when I was a kid, our favorite thing to do was to go around during Christmas and go down through the plaza and
Yeah,
look at all the animated characters in the windows. I mean, that was a highlight for us. So it's just kind of funny how things have changed, and the plaza's getting hopefully better with
right.
their tenant situation and other various stuff. But I love seeing the crossroads. I love seeing all the explosion and there are more people moving down there to live, which I find
Yes.
fascinating. I'm not a city dweller. I'll stick to my suburbs. So I like my trees. But there is an amazing amount of people that live down there and they love it. So it's just kind of cool. And I like the streetcar. I thought it was a little weird at first. I'm like, I don't get it. But now I see it and it's just really cool that we have that.
Yeah. Is that part of your tour? Do you
I use
utilize
I use the streetcar quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've been on it a couple times and it's so handy.
Mhm.
But yes, it's interesting to hear. I didn't grow up here. I grew up or when I say here, I'm in Lawrence, based out of Lawrence, but I do business and work in and spend a lot of time in Kansas City.
Gotcha.
And in my world, I'm involved in the built environment, let's call it, the engineering, construction, and all that, the real estate. And so, really pay attention to growth and things that are getting built, the cranes, if you will, if you see them downtown and things happening. I am I'm blown away with how much stuff is happening in Kansas City.
Right.
There's quite a lot of energy and a lot of buzz right now. A lot of different areas, if you will. It's not in just one place. It
Right.
seems to be. I mean, they're different things, but just stuff going on north, south, east, west, all over the place.
Oh,
From the West Bottoms to you mentioned it, Crossroads to downtown to
right.
North Kansas City, South. So yeah, it's just interesting to hear your well, you would have seen it, like you said, the plaza back when you, the shops, something I never saw that, you know.
Right.
I do remember everybody talking about flipping or turning the plaza lights on
Right. Yeah.
every year, you know, the tradition of that.
Uh-huh.
I'm assuming they still do
They
that.
do. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the same.
yeah. But yeah, and then to walk I was just thinking, I have not done a Kansas City tour, and I need to sign up for and have you take me around. We just took my parents to New York in the fall, and the first time I think I've ever done a guided tour, we did a tour and a
Mhm.
boat. It was on a boat out
Oh,
there in the
cool.
East
Mhm.
River and in the Hudson, and I loved it. I loved having somebody narrate and tell us what
Right.
you're seeing, what you're looking at, what you know, the story behind it.
Right. Right.
Um, and you mentioned an area right there that I had no so the river market, the city market,
Uh-huh.
an area that I've really and I think is so neat now with the places to eat there and just it's a
Uh-huh.
neat area,
Right.
but it's got some tough history. It
Yeah.
wasn't always like that. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Totally.
yeah. Yeah, you mentioned gangsters and yeah, and I know Kansas City's got some stories. Yeah,
Quite a few stories. Quite a few stories. Yeah.
yeah. Are you excited about, and do you have a tour for, I guess, the, soccer? Everybody's supposed to be coming to town?
I've got a group of 5. They're from Germany, and they're coming in for one of the games later in June, and, they've got me for 2 full days, and they're gonna go see the game, and then they're gonna do 2 days of tours with me, and we're gonna kinda catch a little bit of everything, kind of a good moderate pace. We're gonna have a bus, but we're also gonna get out and walk quite a bit, so you can really have both concepts. You can't
Mhm.
just drive around in a bus for 2 days, there's not enough for that.
Yeah.
But we'll go walk through some alleys and see the murals, and we'll go to the Nelson, and we'll go to different locations so that they can really enjoy it up close and personal and hear all the stories.
Y Are they speak English, so you're able to
All but 2 of them. 2 of them speak moderate English, and we're actually getting the earbud translators so that we
okay,
can
so you can do
communicate.
that. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Then do you take them is food part of the
Yes, I built
okay,
out the whole entire itinerary for the 2 days,
wow,
included the food stops, and part of the one of the lunches is actually a foodie tour down in the city market. So we'll
okay,
go eat at a few different locations as we tour through the city market.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's cool. Do you, growing up, you got any favorite memories back when you were a kid? Is this
Uh
something you thought you'd do? Well, so let's go back to the baking. What got you into that for 30 some years?
I, um, I was just getting out of high school, wasn't too keen on college. I was in college, but I wasn't super excited about it. I had to pay my own way through it, so I was really daunted by all of that and how that was gonna work out. I had a couple of small grants to get me through my first couple years, and, after that, it was like, "I don't know if this is really what I wanna do." I got my 2-year associate's degree and, just wasn't nailing anything, and, I was ready to buy a van and go travel across the US. I mean, I was
Ye
just like, "Let's go travel, let's go do something." But my mom happened to overhear a gal at the Food Barn Bakery, said she was leaving the industry,
hmm,
and, they needed a new decorator. I had taken classes through JCPenney's. Way
oh,
back, JCPenney's used to teach cake decorating classes.
really? Huh,
Yeah.
that is yeah,
Mhm.
that's interesting.
Right?
Yeah,
So mom
yeah,
got us into that because we did scouts and crafts and sewing and all the traditional skills.
yeah,
And, so I thought, "Well, that sounds like a cool idea." And since I had some basic skills, they agreed to train me. And it was really weird because early days of that industry, people didn't like to share their skills. And the
mm,
scout was really good at making roses, but she absolutely refused to teach me how to do it. And I'm like, "But why?" You know? And it was just like this secret thing. People didn't wanna share their secrets like you're gonna take their job or something. That she was leaving anyway. So they actually had to have a technician come in and teach me how to do the icing flowers of different skill levels and stuff like that.
yeah,
And, so it was kind of a funny process to get it through it, but I picked it up and I enjoyed it. It was actually a union job at the time, so being unionized while everybody else was making $4 an hour, I was probably making 9.
yeah.
So it was a decent job and
It's
it got me
pretty
going.
good back then. Yeah,
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 totally.
yeah,
Uh, and so I worked it and I was like 5 years into it. I thought, "Well, okay, this is a decent job. I can do this." Uh, but I don't see me doing it for the rest of my life. And
only 30,
then
right?
Food Barn closed down, and I went to Sam's Club and Price Chopper and a couple other, things along the way before I finally landed at Hy-Vee. Got to be about the 10-year mark, and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I guess it's a career."
Right.
So, just kinda kept at it, and then after we got married and then started having kids, we had the 2 kids, and, that's when we kinda started shifting to a different idea. I need something different to do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's, I hear you. Same thing with our family. My wife, she stayed home with the kids for many years and then had kind of a side, kind of, I'd call it a little bit of a volunteer, job. She got paid minimal to do that, but then eventually as the kids got older, she kind of switched gears, went back to school, and she's now doing nursing. And so,
Oh,
but something that would have been more maybe well, she wouldn't have had as much time, if she would have done that early on, but yeah, we all kinda helping us get 3 kids through college, so,
right.
yeah. So, you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah. Um, well, I was gonna ask you real quick, did you have to bake as well, or did you just get to create? Did you actually have to bake the cake, or did you just get to decorate it?
In the retail field, I just decorated,
Okay. Yeah,
so I
okay.
didn't have to
Yeah.
bake anything like that. I mixed the icing, but that was
Interesting.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah. My daughter, decorate she went she's very creative and did some cake decorating, and I just remember fondant
Yes.
and the magic of that stuff. I never knew that
Right?
that's how you get some of the look you get. Yeah, I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it. Yeah. Yeah,
It's
it's
interesting the technology that's associated with the cake industry that you wouldn't even think of. I mean, now they have silicone molds that you can make lace, and the sugar lace that comes out of it is totally flexible and pliable, just as if
mm,
you're handling fabric. Do you know Andres or uh, not Andres, but Christopher Elbows chocolates?
yes.
So
Yep.
Christopher Elbow was coming in new to Kansas City. The whole chocolating thing and the little bonbons were very new and very exciting. And they the prints that are on the chocolate sheets are done on an acetate, and then you scrape the chocolate over it, and when you pull it off, the little design is left on the thing. Well, us in the cake world, we're looking at these things going, hey, we can buy these acetate sheets, put our own chocolate over it, wrap it around the cakes to make this really cool design.
Mm,
So we're really excited with all of this. And this is going on. And it's just kind of something new in the cake world. And there's always new tools, new equipment, new everything over the whole time. At that time, funny story was my husband works for a hospital and he was called in on Mother's Day. And the physician was disappointed that he had to actually call him in on Mother's Day. He's like, I'm really sorry. I have to call him in here. I need him to come and do. He works in radiology, and the
mm.
radiologist needed an assistant for that procedure. And a couple days later, he comes home. My husband comes home with this big box of chocolates from Christopher Elbows.
Oh.
I knew how much those chocolates cost.
Yeah,
So my little mouth was on the floor. I'm like, "What is that for?" He's like, "He felt bad for taking you away on Mother's Day." And I'm like,
uh,
"So he sent me a box of chocolates?" He's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "You don't understand. This was Christopher Elbow's chocolates."
wow,
So
that's pretty
it's like a long running story. So every time I do a chocolate and wine tour, and we stop at Christopher Elbow's. And so every time I go, I share that story with the people, and it's
that's
always
good.
fun. It's just a cool personal touch
Absolutely.
that was significant.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I appreciate, you being here, and I wanna be sensitive to your time. Is there any you got any other stories you wanna share from your tours and or
No,
personal stories or anything like that?
right? No, I think
Yeah.
we covered an awful lot.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you haven't shared this much about yourself in a while? Yeah. Yeah. No, so do you do any weekend or are they during the week? Your
I do
tours?
both. I do both.
Both. So
And I'm
just
working on the World Cup right now and just trying to figure out the timelines of what's going to work for people, who's in town, what do they want to see, that kind of thing and it's reached a point where everybody's like emailing me asking, how's the bookings going? How's it looking? And it's the same with
yeah.
the hotel. Nobody knows until it gets here.
Right. Right.
So we're just going to wait and roll with it and see what happens and adjust
Yeah.
it.
Everybody's, I think, yeah, cautiously or optimist. I mean, everybody's optimistic and we just don't
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you do these kind of have you been on any tours in other places?
Oddly enough, it wasn't a thing until I started doing this job. I don't know why we never thought about it. You know, we took vacations with the kids all the time
Yeah.
and never thought about taking a tour with us with another city. And now my husband and I do. We've done some ghost tours. We've done some other city tours. Um, I've actually run into a group that's a true crime podcaster, and
Okay.
he's got a walking tour this Saturday that I'm gonna go join in, just so I can watch and talk and hear what they have to say, and
Absolutely.
it's just fun.
Yeah. Well, this has been real so enjoyable to meet you, Sherry.
I
I
appreciate
appreciate
your plants.
yeah. If I can ever be of help, please let me know. And I'll get a group and come over and there's a few places I'd like to go, and looking on your website, there's a few. Yeah, the ghost tour sounds kind of fun.
Yeah.
I like the food. You've got a foodie tour. Yeah, so I think it'd be a lot of fun. And you know,
Absolutely.
yeah, and maybe I'll see you at another KC Downtowners lunch
Mhm.
maybe here coming up. So, but well, I appreciate your time and
Absolutely.
thank you for being part of the build.
Yeah, absolutely.
What part of your story might be shaping who you're becoming, even if you haven't fully named it yet? This is the Fort Builders. Thanks for being part of the build.